welcome. Thank you for being
Thank
here
you.
again. I'm going to start out, let's see, we'll start at the very beginning. Is that the very best place to start?
Always.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen and you can see this is what we covered last Wednesday. We talked about a lot about the Zoom host tools and about security and teaching tools. We walked through another sample lesson and we talked a little bit about the progression of that lesson. So today we're going to start out, I did a little testing and research on a couple of things that seemed to be hot topics last week, and I learned a lot. So I wanted to share that with you about spotlighting and sharing files and those things. And then we're going to get some practice using some of the Zoom teaching tools, including annotation, which is really useful. And then we'll do another sample lesson. So for homework, I had asked you to think of a lesson that you did in person and think about and write out how you would do that online. And we're not actually going to use those today because I just wanted you to have something in mind, and homework after today is going to be to take that lesson plan to the next step, to the next stage. So to expand it and broaden it and reach out and see if there's anything that you learned today or more thoughts that would make it more effective. So we'll go from there. All right. So pinning video, this was a big topic last time. What I learned was that pinning video, as someone, I think Amy said she was trying to figure out how to teach that to her students, and she teaches level 0 or -0, something like that. So that could be difficult, but everyone who pins a video only makes a change on their own screen. However, Zoom offers us something called Spotlight Video. Only the host can spotlight a video, and you have to have at least 3 participants and your own camera has to be on, and you can do it when you're in gallery view. So I want to do a little test so you can see what it's like. If everyone can shift your own view to speaker view. So you would see speaker view. If I'm speaking, you would see me big and everybody else would be small.
Okay.
Remember how to do that?
Is that something you can do when you're not sharing the screen?
Here, make it easier. Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Sorry.
Yeah. Mine says speaker view, but it's still showing gallery.
Well, it says speaker view because it wants you to click on that button to get to speaker view.
Okay, I clicked it and now I have view big.
Okay, so everyone has everyone is in speaker view.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
Can you get there?
I'm not. I'm not, Linda.
Up in the top.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, got it.
Got it. Rosemary got it.
I don't have it. I don't have it.
I don't know what to do.
Up in the top right hand corner of your screen, the very top of the black, you'll see this will say speaker view.
No, it doesn't.
It says gallery view.
Okay, if it says gallery view, that means that you are in speaker view.
Oh, okay.
Mine doesn't say anything.
Okay, we're going to go ahead. So now, if somebody else could just, let's say, Pam, can you just say some things, please?
Today is Monday, July 6th.
Excellent, thank you. So when Pam talked, did she appear big on your screen?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no.
Now, Pam, can you do that again, please? Or something different?
Tomorrow is Tuesday, July 7th.
So even though she was talking, did I appear big on your screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's because I spotlighted my own video. And now, even if other people cough or comment or do whatever, the host will still be big on your screen.
Oh, so it's not necessarily a video, it's just to keep yourself big as the host.
Exactly, right.
Okay.
That keeps the screen from jumping around to different people.
Exactly, when someone coughs or makes a comment. Now you can go to gallery view. If you go click that gallery view button, now you can see everybody, right? So students can still do that, but it's just that when they're in speaker view, you'll always be big. And now I can cancel the spotlight. So if anyone coughs and you're in speaker view, they'll be big. But so so let me show you here exactly what I did. Very useful. Here, and I tested it. I had my computer and my iPad and my phone on, and it worked on all of them.
Oh, that was great of you to do all three.
Me, myself, and I, we have a lot of meetings together.
So the host would do that.
Only the host can do it.
Can do it.
If you, what I did was I clicked this little 3 dots and I clicked spotlight view. If you click your 3 dots, you'll see that you do not have the option of doing spotlight.
Okay.
And only the host the host can spotlight only his or herself. Him or herself.
Correct.
Can't spotlight another.
I believe that's true. Yeah, I don't have a way of spotlighting another.
Yep.
Well, actually, hold on a second. Nope, I take that back. I can click on any one of your boxes. And so now if you go to speaker view, you'll see that Jim is the one who's big, even though I'm the one who's talking. So the host, if you have a student doing a presentation, you can spotlight that person. All right.
Okay.
What does pinning do?
Pinning does the same thing, but only for your own screen.
Oh, okay.
So if I were to pin my own video, it would not have any effect on anybody else.
Why would you ever want to only see yourself big and nobody else?
Well, as a user, you can, I believe, pin somebody else. So if you didn't know about Spotlight or your teacher didn't know about Spotlight, you as a participant or as a learner could pin the teacher. So the teacher was always big.
Okay.
Yeah. Or, yeah, I could think of, go to middle school kids and I could think of reasons, but we won't go there. All right. The other thing that came up a lot was file transfer in chat. And it looks like it's pretty easy to do. It has to be permitted in your settings, in Zoom settings on the Zoom website. And when it is permitted, when you click the chat button, you would get this option, share a file. And the host can also restrict the kinds of files that are shared. I'm going to tell you again that I don't use this, because if you share a file, your students have to have the ability to open that file and to do something with that file. And it can make life complicated. If I'm going to share a file, I will upload it into my Google Drive, click the share button to allow permissions, and share the link with everybody. And then everybody can see it, even if they don't have whatever application I'm using. All right, but I wanted you to know how that happens. Questions? Okay, so we've talked a lot about sharing, and I wanted to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of using different kinds of documents. So I'm going to use slides, Google Slides, and PowerPoint, and I can't remember what the Apple presentation software is called.
How did you get to Google Slides? Excuse me.
Sorry, the name of, I'll take your question in just a second, Bonnie. It's called what?
Papers for documents.
Okay.
Pages?
Pages.
Pages is the Apple, the Google Doc, but they have a slide one too. Anyway, so I just got, Keynote, thank you, Keynote. So slides, PowerPoint, Keynote, whatever it is that you want to use. I just got to, the question was, how did I get to Google Slides? I had the tab open. I went into my Google Drive and I opened, here I had a presentation ready, but I can open a new file. And someone had asked me for recommendations on videos specifically about using Google Docs just in general. So I'm going to try to find something good and send it to you.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
So when would you use a presentation kind of software like Google Slides or PowerPoint versus a document kind of software like Google Doc, Word, Pages? This might seem like something kind of specific, but it's a little tip and trick that can make your life a lot easier, I believe. So this is a class that I did. This is from a class that I did using Google Slides. Some of you may recognize this. And we were talking about feelings, and I have a different feeling on each slide. We had talked already about what the words were, and so this was the controlled practice for students to fill in. These were controlled. This was somewhat less controlled. I had students to give me the whole sentence. He feels, she feels. We typed those in over here. She feels. So this was a use where Google Slides was really easy to do. It's not cluttered. You can have a picture and you can have some amount of text. Here's another class that I did. This was also in a beginner class that I used a document. So this happens to be in Google Docs, but you could use Microsoft Word or Pages or whatever you want. This is one where we wanted to build out a dialogue. And if I were in Google Slides, I would constantly be having to move my picture over and extend the size of the document, and I might not have enough space. So whenever space is going to be an issue, a document is really helpful, and you can still have your picture. And the disadvantage here is that if I have my pages nicely laid out so that I have one conversation starter. This was a lesson on small talk. I have one conversation starter on each page, but of course, if this first dialogue goes really long, then I might end up with sort of an awkward page break down here. You know, it's not such a big deal. The benefits often outweigh the costs. You would just have to fix your page breaks like that.
So Linda, do you just go and like grab a photo off the internet and stick it on in your doc, and then you leave the spaces for so you're cutting and pasting basically pictures and the little emojis and things like that?
Yes, and actually one of the great things about Google Slides, and I think PowerPoint has this built in too, is you can just say insert image, search the web.
Okay.
Oh,
and
like PowerPoint, yeah.
Yeah, you can type in whatever you want here. I don't know what made me think of eggs. And when you double click on the picture, it will land up in your document.
Great.
Linda, I have a question.
Yes, Meta.
I made a slide for a lesson a couple of 3 days ago doing the same thing, but I could not control the color of the font, color of the text, because sometimes the text will the slide will open up with a certain color, like a background color, which I could control, but I could not control the color of the text.
Let's hold on to that question a bit for that sort of more general use of the application. That's okay?
Yeah,
all right.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So I'll take another question in just a second. The other thing I just wanted to say is why then Google Docs? Why do I use Slides instead of PowerPoint, or Google Doc instead of Word, Microsoft Word? And for me, I like having everything online. It doesn't matter which computer I'm using, or if I'm on another device. I just log into my Google account and I have them. But even more so, at the end of the lesson, I can click share, get the link, and just send the link to my students. And then they have the exact replica of what we did in class. Whereas if you're doing something using a format that's not online, like PowerPoint or Word, to send it to your students, either you have to email it to them, but if they don't have the application, they won't be able to open it, or you have to upload it somewhere and share it. I just find this easy. it's really whatever you're comfortable with. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you have the slide like you showed us with the picture and A, B, C, and people can write in there, can all this, let's say you're doing it with a few students, can they just go right in there and use it and type things in?
When you're sharing your screen, what you're sharing is like a picture to them. It's not like a document. So they can't go in and edit. You would have to share that with them. I use this where we're doing work collaboratively, for example.
You can type it in, they can say it.
Exactly.
And then you could, okay.
Yeah. Now that said, later in this class, we're going to talk about annotation, and that is a way that students can write into your they can write like on top of the image that you're sharing. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, other questions?
Yeah, I do have one question, Linda. So if they can, when you say they can type kind of over what you're sharing, does that mean they would be able to build the dialogue according to the picture that you showed, like the bus is late, and then they would be able to build that dialogue if you called on them?
Okay, that's a good straight man question.
Not meant to be, but.
So let's say we have this dialogue here. We could do it collaboratively. So I say, how's your day going? And then I ask a student, what would you say in response? The student might say, good. How about you? Or whatever. And I, as a teacher, I'm the only one who could type into the document.
Okay.
When we're going to talk a little bit about annotation, and I'll just give you a little preview. Students, and some of you know about this already, you can give students the ability to annotate the document. And if you go up at the top of your screen, you'll see a bar that says view options.
Yeah.
And if you click on the view options, there's an option that says annotate.
Okay.
View options.
And if you click on annotate, you'll get an annotation bar that has a text option and a squiggly options to draw lines. So go ahead now. Yes, see, someone said not so good. Everyone should be try writing on my screen here.
Where is that annotate?
I could not find it.
For that annotate thing.
At the very top, usually at the very top of your screen, there's a little bar. It says the screen is being shared. And then to the right of that, there's a little black horizontal box that says view options.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Got it.
I see it. Okay, great.
So with that is a way to have students, if you can describe that, they have to be able to find the view options. And we've talked about sort of how much technology do we want to teach. But this is one way. And when I'm ready, I can just.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
And I'll show you. I have screenshots in a little bit. We'll practice that. Okay. So to your question, if you wanted to have students build out the dialogue on something that you already have up, that's really the only way I can think of to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Linda, I was able to go to annotate, but now when I go up to the top, there's nothing, it's not there anymore. Am I missing something?
Do you have that annotation toolbar?
It popped up when you suggested that we do that. It popped up and I clicked annotate, but now when I go back to get to that bar again, I don't see it.
Do you still have the annotation toolbar that has the T and the squiggly line and the spotlight and all those things?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So on the far left-hand side of that bar, there's a very important button, very important. It's called mouse.
Yeah.
In order to get control of your mouse back, you have to click that. Otherwise, it thinks that you're still wanting to draw pictures.
Oh, I see. And where did the hearts and all the other stuff come from?
Stamp. I believe those are in Stamp. The other thing to know about the annotation toolbar, that item, don't click this when I say it. The item that says Spotlight is an erratic feature. So if you click Spotlight, you have the opportunity to lose control of your mouse. And it's not totally clear how to get it back. I just had, it's probably not that difficult. I haven't done a lot of testing, but I have found that clicking Spotlight, which should like highlight where you're pointing to, does weird things with the mouse. And I've had other people say the same thing. So
is that just with the host that has Spotlight?
I think you have Spotlight on your annotate toolbar also.
No.
Oh, all right, great. Then you don't have to worry about not using it.
Spotlight works great if you have a touchpad, though. I use it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Linda, I have
Yes.
one question about the select button on the annotate bar.
Yeah.
So, for example, on the HHH with the text, once I start typing that text box, I can't go back and select it and add to it. Is that correct in this mode?
Typing here.
Okay,
Now I click out of it, yeah, it just opens a new text box for me. The select tool allows you, allows you to move this box around, but it doesn't, oh,
no, no, it does, you can do it, but I don't see the select tool. Where did it go? Like, it's not an option in that bar. I see mouse, text, draw, stamp. I used it the other day.
I don't know where it went.
Where do you see it on your bar? On your
I do.
Huh.
I wonder if it's just when you're in host mode.
Does everyone else have the option of a
I
select?
don't have
it. No.
Yeah, I think it's a host mode.
Which is really bizarre that it should only be host mode. I guess this isn't Zoom's top priority.
Maybe that gives the host the ability to manipulate things that nobody else can do.
I guess so. The host wants power always. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop that. And
is that all in Zoom or Google Docs?
I just stopped sharing my screen. The whole annotate feature is part of Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is a way of making up for some downfalls of Google Docs. So here's another document. I used this morning. We were listening to audio of what the phone trees when you call a doctor. And here I made a little matching game. And when my students said operator assistance means this, this is something that you can do if you're in slides or PowerPoint. You can create arrows and move things around, but you can't if you're in a document. But I created this in the doc because I have lots of other things under it that I wanted. So I was able to use annotate, or I can better use a straight line.
That's only Google Doc?
The document with the black in it is a Google Doc. It could be a Word document or anything else.
So Linda, when you give them an option to annotate, they can participate and they can match the options on both sides with a line.
You can decide whether you can set your options to allow students to annotate or not to annotate. Okay. In this case, I didn't want to spend time teaching them about the annotate tool and that you know, distraction that that creates. So I was just using it. And again, so the red lines that I'm doing are part of Zoom's Annotate.
Yeah, it might be easier to do it yourself rather, especially if they're on their phone or something, they have to find Annotate. And
Exactly. Big distraction. And if, you know, one person called it out, you can ask, does everyone agree with that? Do you think that's right? Right? Ask people to hold it. Okay, we're gonna go into breakout rooms really soon so that you guys can try this. I wanted to show you, let's see, whoops, gotta clear. Okay, so this is a PDF document that lives on my hard disk. It is something that comes from Breaking News English. Breaking News English is a great site. It has all of its news articles written in multiple different levels. So you can have the same article written in different levels. And it also has PDFs with lots of exercises. So this is something clearly that you can use, Annotate. You can use Annotate to do with your class. You can use it to emphasize syllables for pronunciation. You can draw circles. So really you can use it for anything. Like I said, this is a PDF document, and clear. All right, questions?
I don't know if this is the perfect time about formatting, but I was playing around with those phone conversations that you sent for the Monday meeting this morning. Is there a guideline for how you'd want to format to make sure it works on phones for the students? I was thinking it was too big when it came to my Word, and I was putting it down from 24 to 16 and
you can try it to see what your eyes are comfortable with. I was trained by a student that I had this year who had very serious eye problems, very serious vision problems, and everything had to be big and bold. Even when we were in person, I could only use black or blue markers because she couldn't really see the other colors. And I would encourage you to try a Zoom meeting, log in with your phone as a participant, share a screen on your computer, and see how big it actually is on your phone.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of students on their phones.
Okay.
Exactly. You can be your own student and see what it looks like. Eye strain is a real thing, and so that's why I tend to use those big, bold. If I had really been using this PDF document that I showed you a minute ago, I would have zoomed in on one part of it and not just shown the whole thing.
Okay. I'm seeing it now.
Other questions? Chris, we see you twice.
I joined with my phone. I screwed up. I'll stay muted.
Okay. I just muted both of you. Sorry. Okay.
Linda, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you were doing the annotating and stuff, were you just using the Zoom annotating feature for that to do the circles and things?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay. I just haven't done circles with it yet.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go into breakout rooms so you get a chance to practice this. And let's just see. I'm going to send you, lest we not practice using chat for too long, I'm going to send you a link in the chat box. And whoops, that didn't work. Just sent the words. Okay. Here we go. All right, and take that link. Again, some of you will be able to just click on it. Some of you will have to copy and paste it into a browser window. And you'll see that it's Portland's weather forecast. I didn't mean to be depressing.
So now go ahead and open it.
Go ahead and open it.
I just went automatically to that link. So how do can I split my screen so I have the meeting as well as because now all I see is the weather.
You should be able to grab the sides. Yeah, grab the sides of of either screen and just squish them in so you can see them side by side.
Whoops.
Or just toggle back to the Zoom screen. It's been a long weekend. We didn't practice this over the weekend.
You can't be in full screen to do that.
Right.
I almost never use full screen because there's so much you can't use with it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do good teacher etiquette, and I'm going to share my screen now to show you what I'd like you to do in breakout rooms. I want you to open that weather document like you just had. Take turns. We have a good number of people. I think there will be 2 people per breakout room. Take turns sharing your screen, annotating, and yeah, have one person do that, have the other person do that. If you have time, you can also go to an open document and ask your classmate a question and try typing the answer, and your classmate can give you feedback about what they're seeing. All right?
I forgot how you share your screen.
There's the big green button. Does everyone have this? You can take a picture of it if you want. I know it's not that complicated, but that's what I would ask students. Take a picture. If you're not on your phone, use your phone to take a picture of my screen. Okay. Now I can't remember the question. All right. Is everyone good? You know where the help button is if you need me. And let me just.
Linda, I wasn't able to copy the URL address into my chat, but I opened it up and I saw the web page.
Okay, good. You don't need to copy it into your chat. You just needed to get it from your chat. Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Hello. How was your trip?
Hello. It was good.
What questions do you have or observations?
Linda, I was with Chris, and I could not succeed at having the 2 of us on one side of my screen with the shared screen on the other side. So when I clicked the link to the weather page, it fills my entire screen and I lose the Zoom screen basically is gone.
Are you on a computer or a tablet?
I'm on a laptop.
You are on a laptop.
That has a rather small screen, so it's a small laptop.
So you need to size your browser to make it smaller in order to fit.
I couldn't explain to her how to do that because I'm on a PC. I don't.
You might be able to do that. The other option, if you exit full screen so that you're not in full screen, then you can grab the corners or the sides of your shared screen around to move them. Because probably what was happening is the strip with your partner, with your classmate, was just behind your shared screen. So you have to get out of shared screen. You have to get out of full screen, which you can do either in the top right-hand corner of your browser or sometimes just by clicking escape. Click anywhere on the screen that's showing and hit escape. And then your, whatever screen you're looking at will shrink away from the edges, and then you can grab it and move it around.
Well, I tried reducing it. So it was crazy making because I couldn't find the various parts that I needed to. So do you think that's because I have a small laptop and the screen is small?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? Let's get together offline. Let's figure out after class.
Okay.
Do an email, figure out a time where we can get together. I can help you with that.
Oh, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Other questions?
Quick question from Anne.
Yeah, Anne.
There were 3 of us in our group. So one person shared, the other 2 of us annotated. we could see each other's annotations, but we didn't get to figure out at the end, because we came back, whether if we say clear drawings, it just clears ours, or whether the host is the person that clears everybody, or how does that work?
When you click the clear drawing button, you have options as to whether you want to clear only yours or you want to clear everybody's.
Only if you're sharing your screen.
Yeah.
If you're
Right,
not sharing the screen, can only clear their own drawings.
Okay, thank you. That was what we wanted. Thanks.
Thank you, Ron, for that clarification.
Another observation that Jim and I had was when you are the student and you are just looking at the teacher who gave you the shared screen, you do not have the option of that select tool.
No, I know what to do.
Whoops, you're cutting out.
And you get the option of the spotlight, and just as repeated, what you only erase what you just typed. Yeah, my internet is unstable.
Right. That's really good that your students can't delete the teacher's annotations. So that's a good thing. Other questions?
Well, we had problems, Pam and I, of getting, we got the screen and we could share the screen, and then Pam could annotate on it, but I could not. So I don't know. And she had a question. Do you have a question too, Pam?
Many.
Okay.
So this is my question, Linda. Were we supposed to be able to, well, it's kind of like the other question. We could only see the top 5 stories of the weather screen, not the 10-day forecast. And I don't really know why that was.
The person sharing their screen should have been able to scroll down to see the 10-day weather forecast. If you were annotating, you have to remember to go click the mouse button on the far left of the annotation screen in order to be able to scroll your screen.
Oh. Okay, so all right.
Mouse. Hi-yo.
Did not know that. Now okay, got it.
Here, I'll just show that again, because that's really, we forget that. It's really easy to forget that. When we go, all of a sudden, we're used to being able to scroll and we can't.
Okay.
So this is what it looks like. Here's your annotation button.
Okay.
Here is the annotation dock. You can grab the dock and move it around if it's just like you did for the share screen bar before. Just click, hold, and grab. But when you click annotate, this is the bar that comes up. Like Leslie said, you don't have the select and you don't have the spotlight if you're not the host.
Okay.
This is what I was using when I was drawing the red lines before. I was clicking on here and it was giving me the option of straight lines or squiggly lines. Here's where you would get text. And when anything that you're using, if you then want to move do anything really that you're normally doing with the mouse, whether it's choosing a different slide or scrolling to the bottom of the screen, you have to click mouse first. Otherwise, when you put your cursor down, it thinks that you're trying to type or do a line.
Oh. So that's why you told us to get control of your mouse back, you have to click that.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So you click the mouse first, and then you can do whatever you want after that, or you just click the mouse if you want to scroll down the screen.
Well, I would, excuse me, click the mouse, get to the part of the screen that I wanted. So if I was annotating, oh, I closed my weather document, but if I was annotating the weather document, I would scroll to the part of the document that I wanted, and then I would, let's say I want to draw circles where they don't have Portland on this map. I would do whatever I wanted with the annotation screen, and then if I want to go down lower down on the weather screen, I have to click mouse. You can't see me do it, but I have to click mouse on the left-hand side of that toolbar to scroll down here.
Okay.
And then I can even, as a host, whoops. All right, I didn't mean to show you that, sorry. Don't want to be up, but my mouse doesn't work. I have to click the mouse button again in order to close that. So anything you would normally do with your cursor, you need to click that mouse button before it will allow you to do that if you have been annotating.
Great, thank you.
Also, we found Leah was very helpful. I'm on an Apple, and I couldn't access the format on the annotation bar. I couldn't access format because it was at the bottom of the screen. When I moved it to the top of the screen, the format options showed up.
Right. Yeah, remember that you can drag those bars around as long as you're in mouse mode.
I just didn't realize that it wouldn't show if it were at the bottom of the screen. I thought it would still pop up above it, but it didn't. So
it's not that smart.
Yeah.
So what Nancy is talking about is if you have moved your share button, your share bar so that it's down at the very bottom of your screen, and then you click annotate, this bar is going to come up down here, which is off your screen. So if you have moved this to the bottom and you click annotate, you say, where is that share bar? Well, it's because it's off your screen, and all you have to do is move this back up and click annotate again, and then you'll see the share bar come up under it.
Well, I have a word also, and I mean Apple, and I tried to move that bar. It didn't move. It stayed at the bottom. It just sat there and looked at me. I tried to move.
Yeah, something to practice. Something to practice.
Fudge.
All right. Let's see. We have 5 minutes left. I wanted to show you a sample lesson that I put together. Actually, this is something that I used with students, and I need to. Oh, so I wasn't sharing just then. If I look like I'm doing something, trying to show you something, I'm not sharing. You got to tell me not sharing.
We thought we just didn't see it.
So what I was saying before is that if you have moved your share bar down to the bottom, then when you click annotate, this is going to come up down here, which will be off your screen. So all you need to do, if you're not seeing it, you need to just move this back up somewhere so that because the annotate, this bar is not that smart. It's not going to realize that it's off your screen. You just have to move it up. All right. Other questions? Okay, so sample lesson. This was a lesson teaching commands. It was teaching I used the same premise, the same material from the lesson to teach several different things over the course of several lessons. So I had this class where anything food related was fair game. They were very happy to talk about food anytime and all the time. So we talked about recipes, and we read through the recipe together first, the ingredients. We read these together. I read, they repeated. We underlined the verbs, the command words throughout. That was easy to do. Excuse me. Many of the command words repeated themselves, which was very nice. Then we went to the same recipe, which I had prepared with blanks. And we talked about the verbs, and it was a bit of a memory test. So when students would say wash, I would type in whatever they had said. And sometimes neither they nor I remembered what the instructions were down here. So we would come back. Looking for information is always a really good skill for students to be able to find what they need in a document. Then we created our own recipe. We used those same verbs, those same commands that had been in the recipe before, and we put in our own vegetables or food in them.
Okay.
We then we went, so we're going from completely supported to partly supported to a little bit less controlled to very independent. And depending on the students and how much independence they're looking for, you can just try to be as quiet as you can and just type what they say, or help them if they need it, or get them to help each other.
Linda, what level was this?
This was level 2.
Level 2, okay.
Yeah.
And was it one whole class period?
No, it was multiple class periods.
Okay.
This part, what we've seen so far was just it within one class, but there's more coming. We talked then about extending the concept of the command verbs and being more explicit about, the fact that we don't say a subject. And where else do we use command verbs? We say go left, or go to bed, or stop. And we had a conversation about, stopped my screen sharing, we had a conversation about, what do you tell your children? What do you tell your husband? What do you tell, that was extension. Then in a different class, we reinforced those things that we had just read. And I used the same concept of the recipe to teach about count and non-count nouns. And when do you say a little, a lot, some? So first we read through these, and I just asked them, why some here, and can you say some there, just to sort of get them thinking. They really had no idea about this. Then again, my children are native English speakers, and they're 20 and 22, they don't get it right all the time. So to delve into the concept of count and non-count nouns, I presented them with different pictures. How many tomatoes? How many grains of rice? We don't know. How many bananas? How much salt? Can you count them? That was enough to get them to give me a list of count nouns and non-count nouns, things that you could count and things that you couldn't. And they did a really good job at that. Then I focused only on the green side, only on the count nouns. And we practiced saying, I have a lot of, I have some, whatever, I have many, different things that you could say only for count nouns. And different verbs, I have, I need, I want. And this might be too much variation for the students. You sort of have to think of what your students will be capable of doing. The nice thing about this is you can always, if they're not ready, they don't seem ready for too much, you can just change it on the fly. Stay with have for all of them if you need to.
Linda,
yeah.
do you is this the material that you guys have, or do you come up with this material?
This is something that I created.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
So you're welcome to use it. Use it, adapt it.
Where can we get it? On your
on my website, I think I'm not sure it's there. I'll send it out with the homework.
Okay.
I'm not sure I've posted it. Here, I had been asking them those questions, but I didn't focus on getting them to form the questions probably until a later class. We didn't do, because the count and non-count were new concepts to them, the asking questions was a different one. So we spent a lot of time on those. And once those were fairly settled, then I took these last steps again, but for the reds. So then I would go back up here, remind everyone, have everyone remember what the count, I might have them give me the lists again. And then I would construct slides just like these, except with the red side, with the non-count nouns. And it worked pretty well. It was fun. That's a concept that, even advanced students have trouble with sometimes. So it's something that has to go over and over again, but it worked pretty well as an introduction for them. Questions?
I think in about 6 months, I could do this training all over again after I've used it a little bit, and I'll learn a whole nother level.
Yeah, exactly. We want to be able to provide that. The videos are going to be up on the on my YouTube forever, probably beyond me, but we'll do more trainings that you're 100% right. Once you start using things, you realize, you know, what you're ready to learn next.
How do you access the YouTube? What name is it under or whatever?
It's my name, Linda Bonder. If you go to my emails to you with the homework have links to the videos of these classes, and those videos are posted on my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
So if you're getting to those videos, you're on my channel. It doesn't have very much on there, but.
Linda, you mentioned you have a website. Is that what you're referring to, the YouTube, or do you have another website as well?
I have a website as well. I think I sent that out in the last homework, but I'll send it out again. It's just over the several years, if I'm spending a lot of time creating materials, I want them to get used more than just one time just by me. So
thank you.
That's my philosophy of sharing.
I'm happy to help you.
Yes. We're very generous that way.
All right. I apologize. We're over time a little bit. I will send homework with these links, and the homework is going to be to take the lesson that you thought about over the weekend since our last session. See now how you can extend it and expand it and improve it, and hopefully in a space that you'll be ready to share on Thursday. The other thing I'm going to send you is a link to a screencast that I put together about creating breakout rooms. Breakout rooms is not something you can practice when we're together because only the host can do it. So I'd like you to watch this video. It's like 6 minutes or something like that. And think about when you would use breakout rooms, and then we'll talk about them more on Wednesday.
So I just have a quick question about the lesson plan, or like converting your lesson. Do you want it to be, do you have like a certain time length idea for it? Or because some of the lessons I know we did before were like an hour-and-a-half long lessons, but considering now that we have this free thing, it's only for like 45 minutes or something. Do you think we should, or 40 minutes, yeah, we should kind of like skim it down or just break it into 2 bits?
I would encourage you to think of it as by your objective, whatever your objective is, and build out the lesson, the activities, what you would do to meet those objectives, knowing that what you come out with may end up being 2 or 3 or even 4 different lessons. But if you have your topic built out, then you can run it smoothly from one lesson to the next.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I'm going to stick around in case anyone has questions, but thank you so much, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Linda.